So if this is you, or if you want to explore more about this feeling and ultimately how you can overcome it, then stick around and make sure you stick to the end of the video where we'll go over some practices and some insights that can help you whenever you feel like you're disconnected with God. Have you ever felt like God has gone silent in your life? That no matter how hard you try, you just struggle to connect with the divine. You know that is your source of happiness. You know that God is your source of peace and love. Something you can't truly find, at least not for perpetuity, in something or someone else. But no matter how hard you try, no matter how many books you read, no matter how many courses you attend, no matter how much time you spend on the mat meditating, it feels like a distance that is insurmountable, right? We all have been here before. Anyone who has truly gone on the spiritual journey has certainly experienced these challenges and roadblocks. In fact, we have a name for it, right? It's called the dark night of the soul. But the dark night is not, as the name implies, a single night. It actually refers to an entire period or a stretch of time where we feel like we're in a rut and we can't get out of it. And everything feels like we're hitting rock bottom, and it feels like we're actually going backward on our spiritual journey. But let me tell you guys this. Once you begin your path, and once you set that mindset or that commitment, that devotion that you want to move toward God, you never go backward in life. It may seem like you're going backward. It may seem like God has gone silent on you and that He has shut the doors, but that's really just an invitation to knock harder. That's really an invitation to sit by the door longer, because God is testing you and wants to see how devoted you truly are before He will open those doors again. So if this is you, or if you want to explore more about this feeling and ultimately how you can overcome it, then stick around and make sure you stick to the end of the video where we'll go over some practices and some insights that can help you whenever you feel like you're disconnected with God. But first, I wanted to talk and spend a little bit more time about why we get this feeling in the first place. Why do we feel like God is so far away sometimes? The reality is that God is not far away from us, right? To use a religious teaching in the Quran, which is what Muslims follow and read and subscribe to, there is a passage that says that God is closer to you than your own jugular vein. Now think about that. What can be closer than your own vein, than your own body? And this is a metaphor, right? This is a metaphor that God is right here. Similarly, in the Sufi tradition, which is the more spiritual side of Islam, there's a teaching that goes like this. It's a saying that God says to His believers, God says to His servants, the people that devote themselves to Him, devote their lives to Him, that are focused on spiritual purification and focused on attaining a higher and deeper sense of fulfillment. God says to these seekers, I am not found in the heavens, and I am not found in the earth. I am found in the heart of my servants. And you see, servants here doesn't have the negative connotation that many of us might associate with, right? Servant here really means that you are surrendering your ego. You are surrendering your false self, this false identity that you've created and that you've built up over the years. You put a name on it. You put a story to it. You've defended it against all odds. But all of this protection and facade has really just made you oblivious to the fact that God was always here. And that's an important point that I want to drill on. God's messages are always broadcasting. Always. Any time of the day. But we just have to tune into the right frequencies to hear them. right? If I'm a radio company, right, and I have a channel, I have an AM channel, and let's just say it's 94.5, and you're tuning into 97.5, or you're tuning to 99.1, and you get frustrated. Why can't I hear what Najim is saying? He must have stopped producing content. He must have stopped his teachings. When in reality, all you have to do is dial it back to the right number. And the same is true with our life. When we feel frustrated, when we feel lost, it's not because God has all of a sudden shut down his radio station. God is always there. It's we who have decided to change the channel, to change the frequency. And so whenever we do experience these moments of disconnection and feeling lost, it's actually a blessing in disguise. It's a reminder for us to go even deeper, right? If you think about it, the reason for your suffering is actually the cure to your suffering, right? As Rumi used to say, the cure is in the wound itself, is in the pain itself. So you can't get around that. You can't ignore it. You can't keep on doing what you've been doing. You have to return to the wound, to the source of the suffering, and see what that's trying to teach you. So that's an important thing to keep in mind here whenever you feel like you just can't connect with God. There's a reason for it, and you have to listen to it. And more importantly, you have to silence your mind, because God can only be found in stillness. God, as almighty as he is, as amazing and magnificent as his presence is, does not have a megaphone shouting out instructions, shouting out things to try to attract our attention. He's much more subtle and mysterious than that. All right, if you truly want that connection, you're going to work for it. And you have to overcome all the distractions of your life. The distractions of work, the distractions of family, the distractions of ego and greed and envy, and all these other things, whether they're good or bad, they can take you from remembering your Creator. So one of the practices that I wanted to share on this video is how we can return back to our Creator, how we can reestablish that connection, reestablish that union that we've had even before we were even born. And it starts with a little meditation. So if you guys would indulge me for a little bit, I would love to go through this short and brief meditation with you, because it will really help us sort of calm our central nervous system, calm our thoughts that never seem to end, that are always racing. Remember, you won't find God in your thoughts. We think that everything in this world can be conceptualized and intellectualized, but God, as that Sufi teaching beautifully said, can only be found in your heart. So let's nurture this heart. Let's slowly start to quiet our mind in order for the heart to speak up. So if you're in a comfortable position right now, or if you're not, try to see if you can relax your body a little bit. If it helps, do some light stretches, roll your neck, roll your hands and wrists, and just see if you can kind of melt into a comfortable position. Now, this won't be a long meditation, because that could be a whole video in and of itself. But what I really want you to do, in however way you feel comfortable, is to begin by taking a few deep breaths. Similar to my last video, it's important that we relax the body. The body is the gateway to calm the mind, and when we calm the mind, we enter the soul. So start with the body. Start with the breath, the force of life, or prana as it's sometimes known. See if you can regulate it, if you can follow it, and establish a rhythmic pace. Breathing in, breathing out. Breathing in, breathing out. Do this for a few times and feel feel your body gradually becoming lighter. Feel your thoughts gradually beginning to soften until they don't have the same charge as they used to. And if you feel comfortable and you want to continue this further, then by all means, feel free to do so. You can hit pause on this video, you can return back to it, you can continue the meditation. But I wanted to just show that the breath is the gateway to returning back to God. And how if we can constantly and consistently return back to the breath, we can actually silence the mind and we can feel that sense of connection again. Remember, it only needs a spark. You know, a lot of the times, us seekers, we crave something big and spectacular, right? We want the fireworks to go out. But let's start with creating that first ember. Let's start putting the tinder and the firewood and get that fire slowly burning. You don't just want to put the lighter fluid and hope for an explosion. You want to kind of build this slowly, because what is achieved fast will go away fast, and what is achieved and built through time will stand the test of time. So be patient on this journey. Be patient in your meditation. Be patient in all the work that you're doing to get back to God. Remember, there's nothing more that God wants from us than for us to turn towards Him. It doesn't matter the speed. It doesn't matter the direction. It doesn't even matter how we get there, right? All roads lead to the same destination. I wanted to kind of end this video on this idea that God is never far away from you, and that these moments of disconnection that you're experiencing, that your mind is quick to label as negative or bad, or you're not making progress and you're going backwards and you'll never achieve it. These are all just thoughts. These are all just fantasies created by the ego in order to protect and strengthen itself. But remember, you are not your ego. You are something much deeper and bigger than that. And the more you start to recognize that, the more you start to incorporate that in your life, you will notice that your spiritual practices take on a different meaning. It's not the actual form of the practice that matters. It's the spirit and the mindset with which you approach them. You could be meditating 10 hours a day, but if you don't have the right mindset, if you don't have the right state of being, then all of it is for waste. So see if you can shift and reframe your perspective from one of previously viewing disconnection as a bad thing to now viewing it as another invitation to go deeper and deeper and deeper. So if you guys like this video, make sure you hit that like button, because it helps the algorithm find other seekers like yourself who want these spiritual teachings, who want to go further and who truly, genuinely want to connect with God, but for various reasons struggle to do so. And if you want more weekly teachings, then make sure you hit that subscribe button so that each week you'll be notified, especially if you hit that notifications bell. You'll just receive a quick notification right in your inbox, right in your text that a new video is out, and you can tune into it at any time. But of course, if you want to go even more deeper than that, right? If you're actually looking for some true personal guidance, I do offer spiritual counseling sessions. And if you're interested in learning more, you can check out my website, www.najimmostamand.com. I'm sure we'll put a link in here for you to quickly access and to book a free 30-minute discovery call to see if spiritual counseling is right for you and to see if we can work together to help you achieve your spiritual goals. And I just wanted to say thank you for everyone who has made it this far. I know it's not an easy topic. I know it can be a challenging experience, but trust me, you are on the right path. You are never going backward in your spiritual journey as long as you are approaching it with the right intention. So make sure you stick around for next week's video, which will go over the missing link in your spiritual journey, surrender. But until next time, I want to wish you a wonderful day, and I want to give you all the encouragement and positivity and good vibes to re-strengthen and renew your connection with the divine.